How to get rid of limiting beliefs. So you've got some limitations, huh? Some patterns, some self-sabotage, some things happening where you're obviously feeling really limited. Otherwise, you wouldn't have found this video. Well, today we're gonna dig in and we're gonna learn how to get rid of these limiting beliefs, how to work through them, how to establish new beliefs, what a belief even is, and practices that you can use that are gonna help you throughout the rest of your life. My name is Monica Reyes, and I am a spiritual and high performance coach, and I bring you through mind, business, and spirit, integrating spirituality and energetics through every inch and every pixel of your life for more awareness and more authenticity. So how to get rid of limiting beliefs. So first off, just want to say you're not actually getting rid of the limiting beliefs, you're transforming them, right? Because what you're doing here is there's likely some sort of quality or something. It's obviously something that's happened here that is given, it's here for a reason, right? It served you in some way. And we're going to take a look at some examples of these limitations and why they're here, right? So they are likely here, you've learned them or you've been trained, right? So as a child, between ages 0 to 7, most of the time, you are building what's called your subconscious mind. You're in a hypnotic state. You're under hypnosis. You're being influenced by your parents. Like you're taking in your brain is this. It's a beautiful organ that is like a computer, and so this computer is sucking up like what it means to be a human being in this world during that age, right? So how to be, how to act, how to survive, how to succeed, how to get love, how to get connection, how to stay secure, how to stay safe. And so depending on how you grew up, you learned just that. And you might have even developed parts of your personality that adapted you to get more of love, connection, safety, and security. And those parts of you that have adapted to the environment are what are called sub-personalities, right? So we think we've got one personality. We do. That's your identity, right? You've got this personality that shows up every day, right? Monica Reyes, who does this, right? But inside of that, we've all got these like smaller subsets of that one personality, and these subsets believe when they get activated, they believe that they're the only ones in their world. They're very unilateral. They have their own worldview. They have their own belief systems, their own patterning, their own body language. They have their own energy, bodily sensations, their own vision for the world, their vision for you. Sometimes they all conflict. Sometimes they work together. Sometimes they feed each other. It's a whole other world. But once you start to get into it, it's really fascinating and it's really empowering because you can integrate them, right? At this point, you've got what are called these fragments, and at some point you can reconnect them to like the main I, which is the higher self, which is the you that operates in this world. And so because these limiting parts of you have adapted to the environment, they have served you. So maybe you lived in an alcoholic household, and in this alcoholic household, it was very unpredictable. You didn't know whether your parents were going to get angry or how you were going to get them, right? And maybe one of them had rage issues and was, conflicting and needed a certain you to show up so that you would establish harmony in the household, right? And so what ended up happening is you ended up adapting your personality to become more harmonious, which meant you ended up creating this part of you that pleased people. I'm gonna please my father and I'm gonna do exactly what he wants and adapt to his personality so that he is harmonious and I don't have to feel that pain or that rage anymore, right? And eventually what happens is you do it enough times and it becomes repetition, it becomes truth, and it becomes who you are. Now you have these limitations, these limiting parts of you. And so how that limits you, it served you because it provided you security and provided you love and connection. How it limits you today likely is now you can't do things for yourself. You were always worried about what other people think. Maybe you're self-sacrificing yourself. Maybe you don't set boundaries. Maybe you don't stand up for yourself or speak up for yourself. Maybe you overcommit yourself because you obligate yourself and you feel guilty for saying no. Maybe you don't speak up and you don't communicate what you feel because you're still afraid that your father's going to yell at you, right? It's very interesting how this all works. But it's not truth anymore, right? You adapted. It served you at some point, but now it's obviously limiting you. And so now it's time to transmute it, to transform it, to reconnect it, to bring it back to here, to basically get rid of the limiting part, but keep the part that's actually serving you. So we're going to use that people pleaser example to work through today. So the people pleaser, which is a whole subpersonality, as I mentioned, right? People pleases to keep harmony, to get love, to get connection. And then the thing about that, the part that's limiting is the part that pleases, right? I want to please everybody else before pleasing myself. And so how that serves you now, perhaps, is it helps you think about others, which is a beautiful act of service. It gives you what's called external awareness. It allows you to see how your consequences, like what you do, how your actions create consequences for the rest of the world. And it allows you to take care of others. You're probably very people-minded. You may even serve humanity on a whole other level because of this part of you. On the other hand, so what we want to do is we want to let go of this limiting part, right? And so the way that you got this limiting belief, right? And some limiting beliefs of people pleasing, right? Because that's the thing about these fragments. They all have their own limiting beliefs. So belief is what just started off as a thought. And eventually it became a repetitive line of thoughts and became a belief. A belief becomes a worldview. It becomes your truth because you've seen it enough times, right? It's what your subconscious mind ended up storing as truth, to save energy. And so a people-pleasing limiting belief might be, if I don't please, I will lose love. If I don't please, they will not like me. If I don't please, I will be rejected. If I don't please, I will experience chaos, right? Those are limiting beliefs. Other limiting beliefs are, I am not enough. If I make money, if I succeed, then I will lose, it will hurt my family. There's a whole array of what these beliefs are, but they're all tied to these fragments inside of us. So learning and grouping and finding out what that bigger, greater grouping of subpersonality is really, really imperative, important. So back to the people pleaser. So what we want to do is not necessarily focus on just limiting belief, but we want to focus on the entity itself, right? And so so if you are people pleasing, for instance, because you are afraid of losing love and you want connection. So the way in there is a part of you that wants connection. There's a part of you that wants love, right? And so how can you provide that to yourself without having to people please? How can you provide that to yourself in a healthy, balanced way, right? So learning to be loved and learning to be connected in a healthy, balanced way will teach the people pleaser that there is another way, right? And then transforming all of those statements. So if I don't do this, if I say no, I'm going to disappoint. So what would happen if you were to say no? What would happen if you were to say no to committing to that thing that you don't want to do, right? Try it once and see what happens. And it's going to take you to be brave, because all of these beliefs is just a patterning. It's automatic. It's a part of your brain. So, I invite you to be compassionate, to not judge it, because it's just a program. Remind yourself it's just a program. But I like to basically fight or break through anything using my 4-step model. So my first step would be a meditation. So meditation is going to it's going to give you the awareness that you need in order to break through any limiting belief, break through any subpersonalities. It's going to allow you to see them. You become this observer and you actually get to see them rather than be it. Okay, so that's number one. Number two is going to be some sort of mindful integration. So taking that limiting belief or whatever that subpersonality is and switching it around to real truth, right? So if I say no to someone, I will still be loved. I am safe. I am enough. If I succeed, I can be happy and wealthy. It doesn't have to lead to the ruins of my family just because that's what I saw happen to my uncle, right? So transmuting it, really, really connecting to what truth is, and repeating that, because you got the belief to begin with through repetition. So repeating the positive opposite of that over and over and over again, maybe posting it around, putting it on your phone, setting a reminder. Maybe that's your intention right before you meditate. The third thing that I invite you to do is journal. Explore those parts of you. Explore like the belief, the greater belief, like the subpersonality of I'm not enough, right? What part of you doesn't feel worthy? Okay, so there's a part of you that doesn't feel worthy. How else does that, show up in your life? How else is it limiting you? How is it serving you? What does it need from you? When does it show up? Like, are there any specific triggers that it has? Exploring these parts of you allows you to be very intentional, so that if you know that I don't feel worthy every time I go up and do public speaking, then you know what you have to say to yourself before you get up and public speak. You know what kind of things you have to do before you do the thing, right? You create what are called choice points. It's really powerful. It's living from this place of consciousness rather than unconscious. The fourth thing that I would do in my 4-step model is an action item. So, step into this new you. So what does it feel like if I'm not enough is the limiting belief? What is feeling enough like? Like, what is that part of you, that new you, the person that feels enough? How do they think? How do they act? How do they behave? What kind of actions do they take? What choices do they make in their life? How do they run their business? How do they have their relationships, right? So step into the new you and act as if. And I would focus on just that one belief until you break through it. So maybe that'll take a week. I've had limiting beliefs that broken through in, minutes, in a day, in a month, in several months. I had one that I had to do for months because it was something so ingrained in my generational lineage. But this is so important, such important work, and it's so powerful because it will absolutely affect you. It will affect everything that you do because it's your brain. So now there's like these beliefs or filters. Imagine this filter now being like undone. And now you're seeing life through a whole new lens, a whole new eye. Like you're seeing life through this whole new you. And it's really powerful. And because we are all consciousness, it's not this little thing. You are not only transforming just you, you're transforming your generational lineage. If you've got kids, you know that you're transforming all of them. You're transforming your partner, your husband, your boyfriend, even though they don't even know it, because we're all energy and we're all interconnected. So it's really, really, transformation is a huge thing. All right, well, I hope you got value out of this video. If you like the video, go ahead and hit the like button. If you want to see more videos like this, please hit the subscriber button and hit that bell. Very important because you'll get notified every time I release a new video. And that's it, folks. So I hope you have a beautiful day and I will see you soon.